The weather in San Diego is famously flawless, with a reputation for climate constants.
It's still nice that there's no wind.
The sunny skies are what drew resident Shaylee Heller to the city. But over the past few months, America's finest city got a wake-up call. In February, not one, but two atmospheric rivers pounded San Diego and other parts of California. These fire hoses of moisture unleashing torrential rain and fierce winds. A month earlier, an unexpected and ferocious storm dumped nearly 7 centimeters of rain on the city, its rainiest day ever in January since 1850. The torrent once again catching residents and forecasters completely off guard. The biggest weather surprise of them all came last August, when a tropical storm made a direct hit on San Diego County, the first time since 1939.
We had massive king tides. The tide was actually coming up onto the boardwalk and washing sand, seaweed, all these things onto the boardwalk that I had never seen before.
It is a rare event.
The historic moment was no surprise to UC San Diego climate science professor Shangping Xie. In the past, the area's moderate water temperatures would prevent storms from gaining strength. But with temperatures warming year by year, Xie says storms like Hillary will be more common.
Winter storms are going to become more intense in terms of rainfall.
Professor Xie's office at the Scripps Institution of Oceanography overlooks the Pacific Ocean, a constant reminder of the urgency of his research.
The changes we are experiencing, we are witnessing, are happening at a rate, unprecedented rate. So in lifetime, basically, or even shorter than lifetime. So the coastal communities in California are facing difficult choices.
It's not just the oceans that are vulnerable.
San Diego is actually one of the hotbeds of biodiversity in the entire world.
Carlos Callado works for Wild Coast, an organization founded more than 20 years ago to protect coastal and marine ecosystems in California and Mexico, a mission more pressing today.
And these lagoons, these blue carbon ecosystems, are actually hotbeds of biodiversity. Between the variety of plants you can find in them, between the salt marsh plants in and around the water, the riparian plants all around them, the variety of wildlife, endemic birds, and many migratory species pass through here. California, unfortunately, estimates of our salt marsh and lagoon sizes has been reduced by about 90% across the state. But with that said, what little space we have left can be very powerful in the fight against climate change. Please and thank you.
The power lies in a natural weapon against climate change, deep down in these lagoons. Buried and stored several meters underwater is what's known as blue carbon, carbon released from the atmosphere that's sucked by the plants living in these waters, then captured, buried, and stored in the sediments below. A sink of sorts where it can remain for centuries. But when disturbed, it becomes a fuel for climate change.
There is potentially tons and tons of carbon stored in these lagoons here. So if they were not conserved, if they were not protected, there's the threat of that carbon being released into the atmosphere.
While Callado works to protect these lagoons, Shaylee Heller takes her mission to the wetlands of San Diego's Mission Bay, at least what's left of them.
Mission Bay used to be like all saltwater marsh, and now there's only like 40 acres left out of 4,000, so that's only 1% that is still that saltwater marsh. It's really overwhelming and scary and disheartening.
Heller leads eco-tours on these crucial and vulnerable waterways that serve as a natural barrier to storms. She works with the organization Ocean Connectors, which supports and raises awareness about ocean conservation along the Pacific coast.
The last thing I always say after an eco-tour is like, I hope you really take something away from this that is either like an actionable change or even just learning something that you tell somebody else, because I think the collective action will definitely make an impact in the end. There's still time, there's still hope.
Francis Coe, CGTN, San Diego.